Welcome to another episode of the CPG Guys podcast. Our co-hosts, Shri Rajagopalan and Peter V.S. Bond, explore how brands and retailers engage with consumers online, in-store, and everywhere in between. And now, here are Shri and Peter. Welcome again to the CPG Guys podcast. It's PVSB, one of the aforementioned CPG guys. Today's episode was recorded high atop the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. We were attending the 2022 Groceryshop conference. Over 4,000 of our closest industry friends joined us in Las Vegas, including our Fresh Fork co-hosts, Andrea Lay and Melissa Burdick, Brian Gildenberg, the host of the Gildenberg Omnicomment, and even Risa Crandall and Jennifer Silverberg from the CPG Scoop podcast. Before we get to that episode we recorded, we want to remind you that all of our content is available by visiting cpgguys.com. We have a brand new website with all sorts of rich content and episodes organized into themes like retail media, content, direct-to-consumer, and loyalty. If you aren't already following us on LinkedIn, please do so. You'll be joining over 16,000 other industry professionals on an entertaining and educational journey. We also manage 2 closed groups on LinkedIn, CPG e-commerce and retail media professionals. Over 1,000 professionals have already joined these groups. Please consider doing it yourself. We're also on other social media platforms, including Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and now TikTok. Check out our series on Knowledge Drops, which is intended to be a fun way to learn about our industry. And of course, remember to check out the FMCG Guys podcast hosted by our friends Daniel and Ephraim. They take the CPG Guys podcast format across the pond and speak to retail and fast-moving consumer goods luminaries from a European perspective. Just visit fmcgguys.com to learn more. And of course, check out our latest addition to our family, the CPG Scoop, hosted by Jennifer and Risa. They conduct snackable conversations with industry veterans. It's a fun way to discover what's new and next in CPG commerce and marketing. Visit cpgscoop.com to learn more. Lastly, we're very proud to partner with Next Up, also known as the Network of Executive Women, whose mission it is to advance all women in business and to promote the cause of gender equality and career development. Please visit nextupisnow.org/CPGguys to learn more about this great group. And now, on to the episode that we recorded at Groceryshop.
Today's episode focuses on how brands are shifting their marketing budgets to investments that deliver positive, measurable returns across the omni-channel commerce landscape through the latest in technology, and particularly through the use of first-party consumption data. Of course, I'm talking about Fetch, the leading mobile loyalty platform for brands, retailers, and restaurants. And everyone who listens to this podcast regularly knows that when I am not podcasting, I am part of the team at Fetch, helping brands and retailers and restaurants increasingly drive meaningful sales through engagement strategies. Earlier this summer, Fetch announced that they had over 5 million daily active users of their mobile app. I think that's up to 6 million at this point. For context, that's larger than Starbucks. Holy cow, that's huge. It's huge. Huge. You get it? Huge. So here to speak to us about the transformation that's taking place in shopper engagement is the co-founder and CEO of Fetch. It's his second visit to the podcast, and so much has happened at Fetch in the last year that Shri and I wanted to have him back to speak with us. And you know something, Shri? You know his episode was the most downloaded episode of 2021 of all of 2021, and we're hoping he can recreate that magic in 2022.
Coming back from my spot.
Challenge accepted.
6 million daily users. It shouldn't be that hard.
Come on, we can get some here. Yeah.
Please join Shri and me and welcome to the podcast my friend, my CEO, Wes Schroll. Hey, Wes, how you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, as always, guys. This is awesome.
We are so excited to have you back because there's so much newsworthy going on at Fetch, the space that Fetch is in, that we have a lot to talk about. Before we get into that, why don't you provide our audience, some may not be familiar, there are 18 million monthly active users. That means there are a lot more million that aren't aware of it. So why don't you educate our audience a little bit about what Fetch is?
Of course. So Fetch Rewards, we run a completely free mobile application that really anyone across the entire U.S. can use. You utilize it by just taking pictures of any of your receipts from any retailer that you get. You can also connect digital accounts. So online, offline, doesn't matter. You can participate. And you're going to earn fetch points every time you do that. Now, fetch points are important because you can turn around and redeem them on everything from like free gift cards. You can donate them to charity. You can enter into sweepstakes, all kinds of different things you can do with your points. And as you scan more and more receipts, we'll then start coaching you into how you can earn a lot more. So if you start to buy our partner brands or maybe shop at our partner retailers, go to our partner restaurants, you're going to earn incrementally more points for doing that. So over time, you're going to maximize your points. You're going to earn really quickly, and you're going to be redeeming for cards left and right. And it's as easy as that. It truly is.
So I got a question, Matt. This morning, I saved this for this discussion.
Perfect.
I got coffee and I saved the receipt.
Yep.
Can I fetch some points?
You can absolutely fetch some points. I think I got one. I think I have one in my back pocket too because, yeah, there we go. I wouldn't be on brand if I didn't. Points. Yeah, and it's Aquafina, which is a PepsiCo product, which means I'm going to earn some points.
Awesome.
You know what I heard, Shri? You can redeem points for things like merch. Like, okay,
who loves merch?
Now, how do we get the CPG guys merch into a redemption option for fetch? We have to work on that. By the way, anyone who's watching this, you're going to see a really cool fetch hockey jersey. It's not part of the merch options yet, but who knows?
You work for fetch?
Do I? Yeah. Oh my god!
I only know that on the CPG guys because every other episode he's got a fetch jersey on. Is that the reason?
Maybe I mentioned it at the top of every episode. That's usually the dead giveaway. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Thank you, Wes, for that. We're going to have in the digital liner notes of this episode, we'll have a link to your LinkedIn profile. We'll have a link to the Fetch Partners page because this is a B2B podcast, and that's the one. But we're also going to have a link to download the mobile app, and I think there might be some referral points that are going to come with that. So if you download the app from the link in the digital liner notes, you're going to start with like 2,000 points right off. That's like $2. That's some good money.
It's going to start compounding from there. So why not?
Money.
All right. So this is great. So what we're going to do is we got a bunch of questions. We've got the hot lights on. You're under the spotlight. We're going to take it on. Let's rumble.
Of course, I've never done this before, so how would you know?
Yeah, no idea.
All right. We made reference to this at the beginning, but Fetch has really been on an explosive trajectory in quite a number of ways. So let's start with user growth. What is really making this platform so appealing to users, and why do they it's one thing to download it, but it's another thing to just keep using it and using it and using it. Like, would you share with us some of the comparative metrics around reach and depth of use and why you think that this is happening?
Yeah. So day one, when we set out to build a platform, we set out to create something that would sit at this intersection that we believed was really powerful. An intersection that was between something everyone knows that they should do, which is save money. They were told that since a very young age that we should be focused on saving money, but in the day, it's not all that enjoyable or fun or simple or straightforward. So we said, okay, well, what if we combine that with something you actually wanted to do? What if we made an app that almost felt like you were playing a game where it felt silly to not be using it? And that's really, that pinnacle is what we try to create our products on, is sitting right at that intersection of those two things. And I think we've been really fortunate that we've had a lot of partners who have seen eye to eye with that. They know that, hey, as this audience comes onto the platform, this is a great place to meet them, which means the value that a consumer can earn has only grown year over year. So in terms of why do people stay? Well, they stay because they know that they're earning more and more as we bring on more partners. As partners lean in.
What they earn.
Exactly. So why wouldn't you stay on the platform, especially as you're reaching out to try to earn some of those, milestones? And then beyond that, if you think about a lot of the macro trends that we're experiencing right now, inflation is hitting everyday households hard, and everyone is thinking about how can I stretch my dollar to just go a little bit further. And I think Fetch has just been very well positioned. To be sitting on the App Store, whether it's on Apple or on Google with over 2.5 million five-star reviews, you come there and you're like, okay, this is real. I should give this a try. So the fact that we've been building that up over the last 5 years, I think put us in a place so that when the market conditions change to have everyone out there feeling smart for telling their friend about a fun way to save, we already have the data points, we have the value there, the proof points. So it's allowed us to really capture the growth as the attention of the nation has shifted there. The fact that just a couple of weeks ago, we were the number 2 app in the entire App Store for like a week straight.
We're not talking like the shopping section.
No, the entire App Store.
How many apps are there in the App Store?
I think it's like 2 million apps.
Number 2 and 2 million. We got to take on number 1. We're going to find them straight.
How many 5-star ratings did you say?
Over 2.5
I'm
million.
thinking, how can the CPG guys get over?
We need some of their numbers. We need some of their. We got followers. We got LinkedIn followers, but we need those ratings and reviews.
Well, you guys are going to always battle with the TAM for your B2B business podcast is going to be obviously in the tens of thousands of people that you're going to be able to reach versus Fetch, as you talked about. I mean, 18 million, and there's still more out there. We think there's over 100 million US households that are directly in our sweet spot of people that would like to use this application. So we still think we're just scratching the surface right now. I mean, when we sit back in our planning, we're talking about how do we achieve 50 million monthly active users in the US.
I couldn't agree more with you.
So I think we're still just at the early point. So long way of answering that. I think the momentum has been earned by the team, been earned by the product, and it's going to sustain for quite some time.
We'll probably get to teamwork at some point, but since you last came on the show, you've already been through and completed successfully another round of financing. Congratulations on that, by the way. And how was this round different from prior rounds in terms of how you're investing those funds that you've actually gotten? And then how long do you expect this financing to bridge through day-to-day operations? And then what's the next logical step from this?
Yeah, so I would say if you look back to all of our rounds of funding that we've done, Series D and earlier, and if you look at the participants of those, whether it's SoftBank, Iconic, DST, Graycroft, these are companies that are known for investing for a huge growth upside, and they're still taking large swings at the plate. You know, it's true venture investing where you're not sure if all of them are going to succeed. In our Series E, that was changed up because it was actually led by Hamilton Lane, who I would say is much less like a VC and much more like a true like PE type of investment institution, which I think signals the fact that we're just maturing as a business. While we still are experiencing hyper growth, we're doing it efficiently with great unit economics, which means we are going to intersect with profitability very, just by us continuing on our glide path, we are going to intersect with that. Even if we're trying to continually up our investment, we can't even keep up with the unit economics that are just going to work in our favor. So I think that's the biggest difference is when we're deploying capital from this most recent round, it's not about when's the next raise. For us, we're going to get to profitability and we're going to choose whether or not we'll ever want to do another raise or, continue to run as a private company or maybe a public company down the road. Options is, I'd say, the biggest difference of this round versus previous rounds.
That's so good to hear.
I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited that it's just a different mindset that we have. But again, like the key point is we're not slowing down on growth. We're not slowing down on investment. If anything, it's been increasing in a lot of areas. But again, just you have this multiplier of as the user base keeps growing, plus we have more and more great partners across more verticals, the unit economics just continue to work profitable quicker. And that just means no matter how aggressively you're investing, you're able to still be marching towards that profitability, which I think all of our partners should be excited about. That just means longevity.
Of course. Yeah.
Well, I think your response dovetails perfectly into my next question, which is you've been adding some pretty marquee names to your roster of partners. They're brands, they're retailers, they're restaurants, right? And some of them have even skipped over what we traditionally refer to as a pilot phase and said, no, I believe so much in what you've been able to create. I just want to go to full partnership. So from that standpoint, why are brands getting, from your perspective, so heavily and immersed and engaged in the Fetch platform?
I mean, just even talking about the scale, right? So 18 million, almost 18 million monthly active users, 6 million daily active users. At some point, it's not even about Fetch's ability to sell. It's about the ability, whoever's sitting on the other side of the table, to just listen to consumers, right? Consumers have voted with their time. 6 million daily active users. People are submitting still almost 28 receipts per month on average. So it's not like those consumers are going anywhere. They're truly looking for something. So I think a lot of just the innovative brands or retailers or restaurants are just seeing this as, oh, this is where consumers are going. So we of course need to optimize our brand's experience on a platform that millions of our consumers are choosing to use. So I think that's one bucket, right? Like people can choose to listen to their consumers, look at the 2.5 million plus 5-star reviews, and you just hear the power of it. Like we've done things too where, hey, tweet at, your favorite brand or in my Instagram post, comment on your brand. And we get them thousands of mentions within 24-hour periods. So they can then pick that up in their own, national, tracking of the conversation and see, okay, this is real. One way or another, this is happening. So I think that's one element. And then the second element is when you look at the macro conditions again, and you think about the reaction that anyone in this space needs to be thinking about as we're looking to buckle up and tighten down the belts, you're looking to shift. There's like a flight towards things that have proven efficiency and quality. And I think Fetch is just set up, given the data set, that 28 receipts per month, to be a highly attributable source that you can target the exact right customer at the right time and then measure whether or not it worked. And if it didn't work, learn from that, quickly iterate and pull back, and you can ebb and flow investments in real time. It's exactly what I think a lot of companies are looking for the future to look like, and we just happen to have a platform that's able to deliver that for them today.
Shri, it's interesting. Just dawned on me. We were talking a little bit about social media. Do you know that there are 3 people appearing at Groceryshop that have the coveted blue check?
I do.
From Instagram. Now, one of them is Fiji, who's the CEO of Instacart. The other one is John, who runs Walmart US. Do you know who the third is?
It's not the CPG guys.
It's not the CPG guy. We check each other off, but it's not them. It might be the guy sitting in between.
I might be wearing a CPG
Hey, there we go. That is
honorary CPG guy.
Styling and
Honorary
profile.
CPG guy. He said it himself. So
I love that.
the success obviously is phenomenal over here. And I'm also, I think the CPG guys are really pleased to hear that you feel this 15 million plus is just the tip of the iceberg. And you can truly go to 100 million households, which is what purchasing power in the United States, and nothing should stop you from doing that, right? Because everyone's looking not necessarily just for a way to save, but also they're looking for the outcomes from that savings, which is the list of rewards. The rewards, one of the Fetch rewards. So staying on the theme of brands, right? Several of your brand partners have actually built their clubs inside of the Fetch Rewards mobile app. And from your perspective, what's the value proposition for a brand to actually operate a brand portfolio club instead of Fetch, which is a dream for brands?
Like some brands actually, one brand in particular, they actually took a legacy program and moved it into the app. What's going on there?
So I think it goes back to almost the same thing that we were talking about in the last question. You almost have to follow the voice of the consumer at some point, right? And where their time is being spent and their eyeballs. And if you combine that with the actual data of what they're doing, it becomes a really, really powerful ecosystem to play in. And I think you see a lot of brands remembering what the beginning of Facebook looked like, when you could also create a Facebook brand page and where consumers could opt in to follow your brand page. And by doing that, they're raising their hand saying, hey, I love your brand. I want to learn more about it. Fetch is essentially doing the same thing, but in a much more intimate experience that is all around the specific category that these brands live in, shopping. So these consumers, when they open the app, they are in the shopping mindset. That is the perfect time for any of our brands or retailers or restaurants to connect with them. So what we enabled for them to do via the clubs was to deliver an even deeper experience for their best customers. Now, we know not 100% of people are going to go and sign up for any club that we launch, no matter what category it is. It doesn't make sense for them to. They're not spending enough money in that category. They don't, care enough about that category to want to spend extra time there. But it's the 80-20 rule, where you're going to have 20% of people that are probably generating 80% of your value today that you do want to give a deeper experience to, that can really bring the brands to life and show the power of the portfolio in a lot of our CPG cases, directly to that consumer in a way that, again, is on a platform that they're already choosing to spend their time on. So I think that's why you're seeing more and more brands move towards that, large scale companies launching these with us, maybe even disrupting the current ones that they had run before, because they just see this as a much more efficient place to do it. Having a third party who has, have 800 full-time employees, over 400 of which are engineering, product, and tech. So no CPG is going to be able to staff any project they do with that type of firepower, versus we can do that and bring these type of world-class tools and bring their world-class brands to life on those world-class tools. So I think that's the key of what we're trying to deliver for them. And because we're seeing massive success on that, we have PepsiCo running with over 2.5 million activations in it already. I think Huggies already has over 1 million, which is for that category is a not insignificant portion of all buyers in the entire diaper category live on their ecosystem. So we're seeing success after success right now with this. So I think you'll see more coming too.
I want to remind our audience that Shri and I have the pleasure of speaking today with Wes Schroll, the co-founder and CEO of Fetch, the mobile loyalty platform with over 18 million monthly active users. Wes, Fetch has captured a sizable amount of omni-channel purchasing behavior from its users. Last calculation I saw, all of the register receipts they're snapping or sharing digitally through email or Amazon provisioning, it comes to something like $130 billion in gross merchandise value. That is akin to the fifth or sixth largest retailer in the United States, but it's omni-channel. That is pretty kind of crazy. So from your perspective, in what notable ways does this scale really enable brands to engage your users from the perspective of the brand, from the perspective of engaging category buyers, and from either a retailer or even a channel perspective?
Yeah. I mean, just to put a finer point on it. So as you mentioned, we're capturing $130 billion of GMV every 12 months.
I heard.
Every 12 months. So that
Say
is
the number again for our audience.
130 billion. And that's, we remember, we launched the app in 2017. So just after a little over 5 years, to be capturing as many sales and have influence over as many sales as the fifth largest retailer in the US, I think shows the power of a platform like this and the attraction it has to everyday consumers. But back to also what we were talking about earlier, where can this go? At the 40, 50 million monthly active users, which we absolutely believe is in the art of possible over the next 2.5 years, we would be capturing close to $400 to $500 billion in GMV. That would be hands down the largest retail channel in the entire United States. And so just the fact that you're able to do that without having to have the overhead of launching new stores or things like that just goes to the power of how fast something like this can spread. And as you pointed out, it is completely omnichannel. So whether a consumer in a household is choosing to do 50% of their purchases online and only 50% of the physical world, we see it all. So that retailer that we would be representing, what's so unique about it is that that retailer actually receives 100% of the spend of any given household. So whether you're a retailer or a restaurant or a CPG, that gives you the ability to deploy dollars efficiently because you actually can know whether or not you're shifting a consumer around from place to place, or if it's truly additive, you can think about LTV or lifetime value of a consumer on a category level. On any
that one was as a metric, the D2C world is completely conquered and measured. It's
Absolutely.
one that brands, the larger brands that redistribute through a retailer have dreamt of all their life. So you're telling us you are now creating a way and a methodology for brands to be able to measure LTV.
Absolutely. And not even just brands, retailers too, which I hear all the time, which is they can understand exactly what a household's worth in their four walls. But the big question is, well, what are they doing outside of those four walls? What is the LTV of this household? And since our average consumer, those 28 receipts per month, that represents over $14,000 per year per household that we capture. So to see where that's all being spent is so important. So that type of relationship enables us to do all kinds of things, whether it's, deploy very targeted offers to a consumer to get them to shift behavior, introduce new products to them. But beyond that, that relationship can be tapped into for so many other things. It can go into asking them questions about what did they like about that new product. You could run surveys directly and talk to the consumer and then watch their behavior to see whether or not what they say matches what they do. Or think about if someone goes and purchases one of these physical items, we have the proof of purchase. We've been talking about that. So the ability to then ask them, hey, Wes, what did you think of the Aquafina water? Rate it. It's 1 to 5 stars. Why not be able to pipe that over into any online presence so you can actually get some UGC recognition, right? Some user-generated reviews. We can absolutely do that across those $130 billion.
Well, let's jump into that for a second, because what's really interesting about that is, with respect to those reviews, is we know the product ratings and reviews drive SEO on the digital shelf. Now, you can invest in retail media. We talk about that a lot on our page. But what do you do about the rest of the page? And we know that if you're not on page one, you're really not in the consideration set. The way a lot of brands get UGC traditionally is through sampling. And it's a very inefficient method.
It's expensive too.
It's expensive, it's inefficient, and just because you sent them a sample doesn't mean they're going to write a review. Can you talk to a degree about, like, are there particular categories where, like, that's not even an option, and how you've kind of revolutionized and been able to scale out the collection of information and basically leverage the platform you've already created and just reapplied it?
Yeah, so I mean...
Wait, so you're telling me Fetch is now can also deliver UGC for brands, correct?
Absolutely. And at a scale that I would say is rather unprecedented, because you're able to take all of their purchases, whether it's physical or online purchase, and that is a verified purchase, and then convert that by asking the consumer a simple set of questions about that product. So take a category like ice cream. How are you going to mail ice cream to a consumer's house and get them to test it and then fill something out?
That's a pain, isn't it?
Yeah, right. I'm guessing that's a tough one.
Are you going to have to spend a lot of money in dry ice to ship that?
Dry ice, freeze-dried mechanisms.
No.
Think of all the damage in transportation.
The costs are huge there. Versus, why don't you just subsidize the cost of the product for the consumer? They can go to the store. They can pick out the actual tub of Ben & Jerry's as an example. Maybe it's a new flavor. They can ring it through. We'll refund the price based upon what we saw that they paid for. And now they can go home and authentically experience that brand. They can share it with their family. And then by the time you ask them, what do you think of it? You're now getting a holistic representation of what they think of that product. Not just if someone was handing out a sample in store or anything like that, or even if you were mailing and it shows up half melted already, you can't control the quality. Really? This is something that's much more back in the consumer's hands.
Whoever came up with that idea, a little pat on their back.
Honestly, don't even know.
So, special question for you. Is Cherry Garcia your favorite? You referred to Ben?
Fish food.
Fish food. I should have guessed.
Sugar.
Of course.
But he's doing it for the omega-3, not for the sugar.
One more thing on the UGC aspect. I think what's important, particularly for those perishable categories, is prior to the pandemic, food and beverage grocery sales accounted for less than 5% of e-commerce. And now it's 10, 15, going on 20. These brands, if you're a brand out there and you want to win on the digital shelf, you're going to find that one, you're going to run out of money on retail media, and two, retail media is only going to get you a couple of items at the top of the page. What do you do with the rest of your assortment to win on the digital shelf? You're telling me that an ice cream manufacturer that can't sample but wants to win on the digital shelf has a viable solution to collect copious amounts of UGC in a very frictionless manner.
Yeah, I mean, and without even cherry picking, one of the first questions you asked me was, how did we capture the momentum? And I said, well, over the last 5 years, we've built up 2.5 million 5-star reviews. So that by the time our moment in time came and a consumer goes to the app stores, which for us is the equivalent of where UGC would go, boom, the consumer can believe in the product and they can go and download it. So the time for UGC for a CPG product is now, before there's a big run in the category or something, because if you build it up now, you will never be able to move fast enough to capture it when you most desperately need it. So a lot of our partners we see building up this database right now so that when that time comes, when the next shock to the system and everyone's going online goes, they're already ready to go.
And there's some transformation going on at the retail side as well. Albertsons recently added ratings and reviews to their site.
Absolutely.
Instacart has now started to add it on select shops. So if you want to win on those formats, you really want to have factors that drive SEO. And we know that average star rating and review count drive SEO.
The way I think about it is the scale of Amazon, right? Amazon scale because they have ratings and reviews, and half the human world goes there. And if they don't buy that, to look at ratings and reviews. If other retail wants to compete, they're going to have ratings and reviews. And this just makes it a whole lot easier to get those ratings and reviews, both for brands and retailers across the diaspora of distribution, which is a big deal.
Yeah. And
so you're here with us recording this at Groceryshop.
Yeah.
And you guys have decided to go big or go home at Groceryshop. There's probably 20 odd of you here at Groceryshop.
Something like that, yeah.
You got a big booth going on here, a show hall booth. You're participating in hosted meetings. You even have a partner on stage talking about outcomes from the engagement with Fetch. We won't say who. That's because we don't want to.
I think there might even be a couple.
We won't take it away from the audience. It's a special message. And then, what are some of your thoughts around Fetch leaning into Groceryshop? Hopefully, we'll see you at Shop Talk as well. and just other public industry events. I mean, this is a public industry event for you. I mean, that large, Peter.
Absolutely it is. When you think about Fetch as a brand, we're still in our infancy because at the end of the day, we only launched the Fetch Rewards app 5 years ago. There's so many people that I still run into who remember us from even 2 years ago, which is great, but we were under 10 million users.
Years ago.
You remember me, exactly. Before I even had this, you remember me.
You and me both.
Yeah, right? So
I wish I could grow hair on the side of my face. I still have the baby face, right?
So us being here with a big presence is coming out to show people that, hey, during the pandemic, one of the trends that has remained, it wasn't just a flash in the pan, has been this desire of consumers to get rewarded for the things that they're spending their hard-earned money on, especially as things are getting tighter right now. And that Fetch is the player who has been there for them over the last 5 years and who has emerged as the clear leader in the space. So we're here to, be open to have dialogues and talk with brands, retailers, restaurants, anyone who wants to talk about connecting with, soon to be tens of millions of monthly active Fetch users that, are looking for value in everything that they do. So what I love about that is that's basically every company that's here in some form or another could generate and be able to benefit from having a relationship to those end consumers. We're just here to represent them. We're thrilled to be here, thrilled to be playing big here, and you'll see us at other shows as well.
And is there a specific outcome you want from these big industry events? You're obviously going to drive significant brand equity for Fetch Rewards, and you're going to share a bunch of ideas that are going to resonate with brands, but is there anything else you're looking for? Other than, of course, I know you really had to be on the CPG guys because this is important.
This was the number one reason. That was the excuse. Yeah, that was the excuse to justify this. No, I'd say the biggest outcome that we're looking for is the density in which our schedules are packed with high-value meetings, with, again, things that would otherwise take us weeks to pull together. Our job, again, we are feeling like we are always time crunched to go out and deliver more value to our consumers.
And will you be attending some of those meetings?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
You might even be celebrating someone's birthday later tonight.
Wow.
Maybe.
Can I join?
I don't know. We'll see if you make the invite list.
It's exclusive, straight.
You're
on the wait list. You're right there towards the top.
I will say September birthdays.
Oh, I'm on the wait list?
You're on the
I know someone else who had a September birthday who's on this podcast earlier in September. Is a Virgo, by the way.
Yeah, okay. They might be the best September birthdays.
Yes.
All right. Let me close this out for this conversation with. We've talked about where Fetch has been. What are some of the areas where Fetch is focused on, particularly improving the user experience? Because what's driven the success of Fetch, as you've alluded to, is just it's so easy to use and it's so much fun to use, right? And what enhancing applications to the platform are you focused on for brands and retailers that's going to get them excited? And you talked a lot about the fact that you're here in the U.S. It's just a very small little part of the world. What are you thinking about? World domination? Come on, tell us. It's only us and our 15,000, 16,000 of our closest friends here. You can tell.
Yeah, so a couple of key things there. So one of the pillars that we're always focused on, especially over the last 2 years, if you look at third-party reported data, so like Data AI is a great example. We currently live in the shopping category. That's where our app lives today. And if you look at other shopping apps, their typical ratio of monthly active user to daily active user sits somewhere around like 15%, which is good. That is very good for shopping. 15%. If you look at like on the other end of the spectrum, what are the apps that people use every single day? The Instagrams of the world, they live at 65%, 70% of their monthly active users are using it daily. Fetch is right in the middle. We're at like 35% of our users are using the app daily, which is by far at the top of the shopping category. But it's trending actually much more towards the Instagrams of the world. So for us, what that means is our consumers are open to engaging with us on a daily basis. And it makes sense. You're shopping on a daily basis. So we're working on building features that will make it really worthwhile for a consumer to want to engage on that daily basis. So not only being able to just come in and scan your receipts and earn points, but a lot of people are looking for community. They want to be able to, we added a social feature. You can communicate with friends and family on who can earn more points, and you can see how they're earning points and things like that. So
it's a friendly, competitive nature.
Yeah. Humans are driven by that.
Guess who two are not going to compete for?
We're not. It's not going to be friendly if it's you and me.
I never said it was friendly. I said, guess who's going to?
I know. Of course.
It's going to be like
you know what? It's going to keep.
It's like the World Series.
It's going to keep us through the off season of baseball.
There you go.
You guys need something to focus on during that off season.
Okay, you and me.
Between February, when the Giants will make the Super Bowl and win eventually, and then the start of spring training, April, we're going to have to compete for.
You guys will be going after. I love it.
No cheating allowed because he's a fetch employee.
Understood. We would always play above board on that.
I want to remind our audience that all of our content is all available for free. Just go to cpgguys.com. While you're there, make sure to give us a rating and a review. We want your feedback. We want to make sure that we have great guests like Wes who are relevant to what you want to learn about. And the best way to do that is just tell us what you're looking for. And if you think you have something to contribute to the conversation, drop us an email at contact@cpgguys.com. Maybe you can be in the same hot seat that Wes is in right now.
Wait. You guys called it a throne earlier.
I call it
the hot seat, man. It's the heat coming from the left.
I got it.
And lastly, Sri and I both want to thank, but we're so grateful for the 16,000 followers on LinkedIn that have created
16,000
plus. So it is a powerful community. We don't take it for granted. We're here to serve you, and we want to make sure the content is relevant, and we hope to continue to do that for eons to come, right, Trey?
Absolutely.
Wes, thanks so much for taking the time out at Groceryshop. Should be a great event here. Thanks for coming up and spending a little time with our little cottage industry here.
It's my pleasure. Looking forward to seeing you guys down on the show floor.
All right, Sri, I'm just going to do a couple of points here.
I got a bunch for you.
You're going to do it. Well, you know what? I'm going to let you.
Absolutely.
Sri.
First, you made an Instagram-esque reference. So the 16,000 plus followers, we know it's like the 2 million in Instagram. So we are genuinely thankful for everything each one of you does for the CPG guys and your love. So let's get to Fetch. I was already distracted when he said 2 million plus 5-star reviews because I've been trying to internalize how the CPG guys get that. Can we get 16,000 5-star reviews? But then I started listening to the data points. 6 million daily users. That's 35% of your greater than 15 million user base that's actually downloaded and has used the app at least once. 28 receipts per month. $14,000 of spend per year. I mean, these numbers are crazy.
And they're a market researcher's dream, aren't they?
Market research, that's the right statement, actually. Market researcher's dream, right?
You can see the little drool coming out of the corner of their mouth, like, what?
Absolutely.
You got what?
Then you also refer to the ambition, right? Why not reach every household in America? Because everyone's trying to save in their grocery shopping, which is like closer to the 100 million range. And then you also put a goal out there being Instagram-esque, which is rather than 35% of your users using daily, why not shoot for that 60%? Let's say greater than 50% range. And I love that as a founder, CEO, you placed teamwork early up for the success of Fetch Awards and didn't really say it's all me and my idea and things of that nature. In fact, I asked you a question about UGC later in the show, and you didn't even know who it was, but you felt that they drove that success, that you spoke to it so passionately as well. We got into fundraising right up front. You said fundraising is now giving you the option of whether you should raise again or you play this out, increase your profitability, and then whether you go public or not in the first place. And then we started getting into the depth of what Fetch Awards does. You gave the example of an Insta post where you asked your active users, the amazing 6 million daily users, what's their favorite brand? And all of a sudden, now if you're a brand, that's social currency. Essentially, that's what you're referring to. You have 6 million daily users who are social currency for brands to take advantage of as appropriate to get their messages out. And then what you do when they do that with you is you attribute and measure. The word I want to use is precision marketing in real time. Real time is the second word that comes in addition to precision. And then we talked a little bit about the club-based concepts that they have on the mobile app and the rewards for portfolio purchases, which many brands are in multiple subcategories. Easy way of doing it without burdening the retailer would be partner with Fetch, right? And then you talked about the strength of the company being half the company's engineering, product, tech, so they can adapt to a brand's dynamic marketing needs. And you gave the Huggies and PepsiCo examples of activation dynamically by leveraging this that way. Then we talked about GMV, $130 billion of GMV captured by y'all. Technically, it's fifth largest retailer. And your ambitions to be the largest, crossing the $500 billion mark. So Good luck on the journey to do that. And we talked a little bit about survey, of what the big takeaway from me. This becomes an automatic methodology for research for not the qualitative, but also delivering on the quantitative. So I don't even want to use the word panel. Because if you've got 5 million in your panel, it's no longer a panel, it's just data. It's like rich data and outcomes and insights that's just crazy. And then the switch from sampling, which is not just an expensive investment, but there's damages in the process. You never know if someone will submit a ratings and review after they receive it, to then move into UGC generation by simply rewarding
scale
for purchases at scale. And lastly, the one note I made here is a pandemic trend, right? People now really tell you, they've expressed to you that Fetch has been for them through the pandemic, and that's why your base is going to continue. Congratulations on all the success, man.
Thank you. That was a great recap. So much appreciate the time, guys.
We're going to keep you around. You can do those more often.
I'm on fire.
Wes, thanks again. And to our audience, we really appreciate you joining us. We look forward to speaking with you on the next episode of the CPG Guys podcast.
The content in this podcast episode is provided for general informational purposes only. By listening to our episode, you understand that no information contained in this episode should be construed as advice from CPG Guys LLC or the individual author, hosts, or guests, nor is it intended to be a substitute for research on any subject matter. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by CPG Guys LLC. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The views expressed by CPG Guys LLC do not represent the views of their employers or the entity they represent. CPG Guys LLC expressly disclaims any and all liability or responsibility for any direct, indirect, incidental, special, consequential, or other damages arising out of any individual's use of, reference to, or inability to use this podcast or the information we present in this podcast.